Hi there, I'm Ian Walker. In today's electrochemistry lesson, our topic is predicting the spontaneity of redox reactions when we are only given two potential reactions rather than one complete half reaction. Now, before proceeding with this video, you should already be familiar with the table of standard reduction potentials of half cells and how to read it. But once you're familiar and comfortable with that, then we can move on. Now, let's look at whether something will be spontaneous or not. There are a couple different scenarios here that we can work with. The first one, if both reactants are only found on the left or the right, then no reaction is possible. That would mean you need two reactants on the same side. So here is two oxidations where both the reactants, Cu and Zn, are on the right side. In this example here, no reaction is possible. And here is two reductions where Cu and Zn are both found on the left-hand side. That would mean that no reaction is possible. The second case we may encounter is if one of the reactants is on the left and one of the reactants is on the right, therefore one on each side, then there are two possible cases. If the reactant to be reduced on the left is lower on the table than the reactant to be oxidized on the right, then no spontaneous reaction will occur. Let's look at a visual. Here we have copper being oxidized and zinc being reduced. Because copper is higher on the table, and the table is the table of standard reduction potentials of half cells, and we're just going to refer to that as the table for the rest of this video. Copper is higher on the table than zinc, which is lower on the table. And because copper is being oxidized and zinc is being reduced, since this is higher, no reaction will occur. Now, the second of these two cases is if that the reactant to be reduced on the left-hand side is higher on the table than the reactant to be oxidized on the right-hand side, then a spontaneous reaction will occur. Let's look at a visual. Now, last time, copper was being oxidized and zinc is being reduced. So this time, for the sake of the question, copper is being reduced and zinc is being oxidized. And since copper is higher on the table than zinc, and copper is being reduced, and a spontaneous reaction will occur. And the reaction that forms is this. Cu2 plus Zn goes to Cu plus Zn2 plus. Now, after looking at these examples, a clear rule becomes present, and I have written down a summary here of that rule, and we can follow this rule in all the questions we do. The rule states that a reaction will be spontaneous if and only if there's a reactant to be reduced which is above a reactant to be oxidized. And above is referring to the table. I hope you've learned a lot from this lesson, and stay tuned for more videos.